Inevitably, you're going to meet off-leash dogs on a walk or when you take your dog out to train. And those dogs aren't necessarily off-leash because they're being trained or because they're under control. Generally, it's because the owners are very, very lazy, and that caused problems. Today, we ran into a couple of them. One of them was a German Shepherd where the owner said, "Oh, my dog's friendly, don't worry." Although the dog's hackles were up, he was staring at me and Shmooly and kept approaching us. So he couldn't call his dog. He recalled the dog several times. The dog didn't listen, had no recall. And I want to be clear, I have no problem with people who have their dogs off leash because I train my dog off leash or wearing a long line. I have a problem with people who have their dog off leash who lack control of that dog. If you call your dog more than once, more than twice, and your dog doesn't respond, your dog shouldn't be off leash. And if you encounter a dog off leash, I'm going to give you a couple of quick tips. First of all, try to avoid the dog. If I see a dog off leash a long way away from me and I see it's running around and bouncing around, it's not really paying attention to the owner, my number one goal is to get out of eyesight, ear sight, and nose sight of that dog, because the dog's going to smell my dog, smell me, and it's going to come over. 2, if I can't get too far out of sight of the dog, I'm going to grab my dog on leash and I'm going to start to walk away. I'm going to try to get away from the situation so that that dog or my dog doesn't escalate it. Even if the other dog is friendly, it doesn't really matter, because what really matters is how that dog is going to respond to my dog and how my dog is going to respond to that dog. I don't let my dog meet other dogs off leash or on leash at all. I check on my dog, I keep my dog under control, and that's really important to me. Now, the last and most critical part is if that dog starts to approach you, what do you do? The best thing you can try to do is to get your dog to be near you, to be close to you, keep the leash loose. And what I always try to do is I always try to take a very strong approach to the other dog. I do not try to run away from the dog. Running away from the dog is going to increase the likelihood that that dog is going to chase me. That's the game. That's the way dogs are wired. So if a dog is coming close to me and coming at me, the only thing you can do is put frontal spatial pressure onto that dog to try to get him to go away. And I usually do that by stepping forward into the dog and going, "Hey!" And that generally will make the dog back up for a second. It'll give the owner a chance to recall their dog, and it'll give you a chance to kind of get away. But again, running away or moving away quickly with your dog on a tight leash is only going to increase the problem, either with your dog trying to go after that dog or that dog trying to chase your dog. So try to avoid them, walk away if you can, keep an eye always around. The first most important thing is keep an eye out. So if you see an off-leash dog, that you start to act proactively. Try to get away from the dog or whatever. Most importantly, if it comes down to it and that dog is coming, approaching, and you can have a strong body posture and tell that dog, "Hey, get away," usually that will work. But you got to be able to back that up if that dog comes at you. Hope that tip helps. But nothing worse than off-leash dogs with irresponsible owners. And I can tell you that most people who have the dogs off-leash are irresponsible. They're just not taking the time to manage their dog or to train their dog, because they're just throwing a ball or letting the dog be willy-nilly. If my dog's off leash, he's in training mode and he's under control. That's what you should be looking at as well.